What if everything you thought you knew about the serpent in Genesis was wrong? Imagine uncovering a secret so profound it could reshape your understanding of one of humanity's oldest and most influential stories. This isn't just a tale of a talking snake, it's a journey into hidden layers of meaning that could redefine the way you see knowledge, choice, and the human condition. Stay with me, because by the end of this exploration, you'll see Genesis like never before. Let's dive into a world where ancient languages reveal secrets, where cultural parallels shed light on mysteries, and where the serpent isn't just a deceiver but a symbol of profound complexity. Along the way, you'll gain insights that challenge conventional interpretations and open your mind to richer theological and philosophical possibilities. Get ready to embark on an intellectual adventure that will leave you questioning everything you thought you understood about this timeless story. Now, let's begin our journey into the hidden truths of Genesis and the fascinating character of the serpent. Are you ready to unlock the secrets of the past? The story of the serpent begins in Genesis 3 verse 1, where the creature is introduced as the most cunning of all the animals. The Hebrew word for serpent, naash, is at the heart of this mystery. But did you know this word holds meanings beyond snake? In Hebrew, naash can also refer to divination, enchantment, or wisdom. This opens up new possibilities for interpreting the serpent, not as a simple reptile but as a being with unique knowledge or abilities. Understanding naash is crucial to unraveling the story's deeper layers. Ancient languages like Hebrew often carry rich connotations, where one word can encompass multiple meanings. This flexibility allows for interpretations that transcend literal readings, inviting us to consider the serpent as more than a deceiver. Could naash point to a divine or semi-divine figure with knowledge forbidden to humans? Cultural context deepens this mystery. In Mesopotamian mythology, serpents often symbolize immortality and wisdom. Similarly, in Egyptian traditions, the cobra represents divine protection and royal authority. Could the Genesis serpent share a connection with these ancient archetypes? If so, it suggests the biblical authors may have drawn on broader cultural ideas to shape this character. The serpent's introduction in Genesis sets the stage for a pivotal moment in human history, the decision to eat from the tree of knowledge. By framing the serpent as cunning, the text hints at intelligence and agency. This choice of language raises questions. Was the serpent acting out of malice, or was it fulfilling a larger, more complex purpose? When Eve encounters the serpent, the conversation revolves around knowledge and consequences. The serpent's claim, "You will not surely die," seems deceptive, yet the outcome reveals a partial truth. Adam and Eve gain knowledge of good and evil, becoming like gods. This duality challenges simplistic interpretations of the serpent as purely evil. Ancient readers may have understood this duality better than modern audiences. In their worldview, characters often embodied paradoxes, both good and bad, helpful and harmful. The serpent fits this mold, functioning as a catalyst for humanity's transition from innocence to awareness. Is it possible, then, that the serpent represents not just temptation but enlightenment? To fully grasp the serpent's role, we must let go of preconceptions and embrace the complexity of the text. The story of Genesis is not merely about a fall from grace, it's about humanity's first steps into moral and intellectual maturity. The serpent is central to this transformation, a figure whose true nature remains shrouded in mystery. In many interpretations, the serpent in Genesis is seen as more than a mere animal. It takes on characteristics of a divine rebel. This perspective views the serpent as akin to figures in mythology who challenge the established order, defying divine authority to bring knowledge or power to humanity. One compelling comparison is with Prometheus from Greek mythology, who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans, enabling their progress but incurring divine wrath. The serpent's interaction with Eve highlights its cunning and intellect. It does not force Eve to eat the fruit but rather persuades her, appealing to her curiosity and desire for knowledge. This method aligns with the archetype of the divine rebel, not a brute force of chaos, but a calculated agent of change. The serpent's argument, "You will be like God, knowing good and evil," suggests it offers not just rebellion but an opportunity for enlightenment. In ancient cultures, divine rebels were often ambiguous figures. Prometheus is both a hero and a thief, a benefactor and a transgressor. Similarly, the serpent in Genesis can be seen as both tempter and teacher. By providing Adam and Eve with knowledge, it breaks the boundary set by God, but it also initiates their journey toward moral and intellectual growth. This duality makes the serpent a fascinatingly complex figure. The connection between the serpent and Satan in Christian tradition further complicates its identity. While Genesis itself does not explicitly link the serpent to Satan, later theological interpretations, such as those found in the Book of Revelation, solidified this association. In this framework, the serpent becomes a divine rebel in the fullest sense, a fallen angel who opposes God's will and seeks to undermine humanity's relationship with the divine. However, some scholars argue that this interpretation limits the serpent's role. If we view the serpent purely as a satanic figure, we miss the broader cultural and symbolic significance it held for ancient audiences. In this sense, the serpent could represent not just evil but a necessary force of disruption, challenging the status quo and prompting humanity's evolution. The divine rebel archetype emphasizes the importance of choice and consequence. By offering the fruit, the serpent does not compel Eve but empowers her to make a decision. This act transforms the story into a narrative about free will, where the serpent serves as a catalyst rather than a villain. Such an interpretation aligns with themes found across mythologies, where disruption leads to growth. Understanding the serpent as a divine rebel invites us to reconsider the nature of sin and knowledge. Was the serpent's temptation an act of defiance against God's plan, or was it a necessary step in humanity's development? This question forces us to grapple with the complexities of divine intention and human agency, challenging simplistic moral binaries. In the ancient world, serpents were often associated with chaos and disorder. From the Babylonian Tiamat to the Norse Midgard serpent, these figures represent primordial forces that challenge divine order and cosmic balance. Applying this framework to Genesis, the serpent could be seen as an embodiment of chaos, testing humanity's obedience to God and disrupting the harmony of Eden. Chaos in mythology is rarely purely negative. It often plays a vital role in creation and transformation. In Babylonian mythology, Tiamat's defeat by Marduk leads to the creation of the world. Similarly, the serpent's actions in Genesis bring chaos to the Garden of Eden, but they also set the stage for humanity's growth and development. This duality reflects a broader theme in ancient narratives, the necessity of chaos for progress. The serpent's cunning nature underscores its role as a disruptor. By questioning God's command, it introduces doubt and curiosity into the minds of Adam and Eve. This act mirrors the mythological role of chaos as a force that challenges established norms and provokes change. Without this disruption, humanity might have remained in a state of innocent stagnation. Ancient audiences may have understood the serpent's actions as part of a cosmic struggle between order and disorder. In this view, the serpent is not inherently evil but represents a force that tests the boundaries of divine authority. By leading Adam and Eve to eat the fruit, the serpent initiates a conflict that resonates with the human experience of navigating order and chaos. The serpent's association with chaos also reflects its symbolic connection to the natural world. In many cultures, serpents were seen as liminal creatures, inhabiting the boundaries between land and water, life and death. This liminality makes them powerful symbols of transition and transformation, qualities that align with the serpent's role in Genesis. Through the lens of chaos, the serpent's temptation of Eve takes on a new dimension. It becomes a moment of choice, where the stability of Eden gives way to the uncertainties of the human experience. This interpretation challenges us to see the story not as a fall but as an awakening, where chaos serves as a catalyst for growth. Viewing the serpent as a symbol of chaos highlights the complexity of the Genesis narrative. It reminds us that stories of creation and transformation often involve tension between opposing forces. In this light, the serpent's actions are not merely disruptive but essential, reflecting the profound truth that growth often arises from conflict. The serpent in Genesis can also be interpreted as a metaphor for the internal struggle within humanity. Its role in tempting Eve reflects the universal tension between obedience to divine authority and the pursuit of forbidden knowledge. This perspective emphasizes the psychological and philosophical dimensions of the story, making it deeply relevant to the human experience. At its core, the serpent's temptation appeals to Eve's desire for wisdom and autonomy. By questioning God's command, it forces her to confront the boundaries of her existence. This moment of choice symbolizes the human inclination to challenge limitations and seek greater understanding, even at the risk of transgression. The forbidden fruit represents more than just disobedience; it embodies the allure of knowledge and the consequences of its pursuit. The act of eating the fruit parallels the human quest for enlightenment, where the desire to know often conflicts with moral or societal restrictions. In this sense, the serpent serves as a mirror of humanity's inner conflict. The psychological depth of the story becomes evident in the aftermath of the temptation. Adam and Eve's newfound awareness brings both enlightenment and suffering, reflecting the dual nature of knowledge. This duality is central to the human condition, where growth often comes at the cost of innocence and simplicity. The serpent's role as a metaphor extends to its interaction with divine authority. By tempting Eve, it challenges the idea of unquestioning obedience, prompting a dialogue about free will and moral responsibility. This theme resonates across cultures and philosophies, making the serpent a symbol of humanity's enduring struggle with choice and consequence. In literature and art, the serpent has often been used to explore themes of temptation and self-discovery. From Milton's Paradise Lost to modern interpretations, the serpent represents the complexity of human desires and the risks inherent in seeking the unknown. This enduring relevance underscores its power as a metaphor. Interpreting the serpent as a reflection of human struggle invites us to see the Genesis story as more than a cautionary tale. It becomes a profound exploration of the human experience, where the serpent's actions challenge us to confront our own desires, fears, and aspirations. To fully understand the serpent's role in Genesis, it's essential to explore its parallels in other mythologies. Across cultures, serpents have been powerful symbols of wisdom, immortality, and transformation. These archetypes provide valuable context for interpreting the serpent in Genesis, revealing its deeper significance. In Mesopotamian mythology, serpents are often linked to gods and the underworld. For example, Ninjashzida, a deity associated with vegetation and rebirth, is depicted as a serpent. This connection highlights the dual nature of serpents as both protectors and challengers, a theme that resonates with the Genesis narrative. Egyptian mythology also features serpents prominently, such as the cobra goddess Wadjet, who symbolizes protection and divine authority. This cultural context suggests that serpents were not inherently malevolent but were revered for their wisdom and power. Could the Genesis serpent share these attributes, reinterpreted through a biblical lens? The Promethean archetype provides another intriguing parallel. Like Prometheus, who defied Zeus to bring fire to humanity, the serpent offers knowledge that transforms Adam and Eve's existence. Both figures challenge divine authority and face consequences, yet their actions lead to profound changes in the human condition. In Norse mythology, the Midgard serpent embodies chaos and the threat of destruction, yet it also plays a crucial role in the cosmic balance. Similarly, the serpent in Genesis disrupts the harmony of Eden but initiates humanity's journey toward self-awareness and moral complexity. The universality of serpent symbolism reflects its deep psychological and cultural resonance. Across traditions, serpents are associated with transformation, wisdom, and the tension between order and chaos. These themes align with the serpent's role in Genesis, enriching our understanding of its significance. By examining the serpent in comparative mythology, we gain a broader perspective on its character. It becomes clear that the Genesis serpent is not an isolated figure but part of a larger tradition of symbolic storytelling. This context challenges us to view the serpent not as a villain but as a complex and multifaceted archetype. Through these cross-cultural connections, the serpent's role in Genesis emerges as a profound and timeless symbol. It invites us to explore universal themes of knowledge, transformation, and the struggle between divine and human realms. The serpent's most compelling attribute is its role in humanity's quest for knowledge. By tempting Eve to eat the fruit, it initiates a transformation that defines the human experience. This act raises profound questions about the nature of knowledge, its costs, and its benefits, making the serpent a central figure in the story of human growth. Knowledge in Genesis is portrayed as both a gift and a burden. Eating the fruit grants Adam and Eve the ability to discern good and evil, elevating them to a godlike state of awareness. Yet this enlightenment comes with consequences: expulsion from Eden, suffering, and mortality. The serpent's role in this transformation highlights the paradoxical nature of knowledge. The act of eating the fruit parallels humanity's historical pursuit of understanding. From the first sparks of innovation to modern scientific breakthroughs, the quest for knowledge has been a defining feature of human progress. The serpent embodies this drive, challenging boundaries and prompting exploration. Theological interpretations often frame the serpent's temptation as a test of obedience, but it can also be seen as a moment of empowerment. By encouraging Eve to seek knowledge, the serpent facilitates her transition from innocence to maturity. This perspective shifts the narrative from one of sin to one of growth. The serpent's promise, "You will be like God," echoes humanity's enduring aspiration to transcend limitations. Whether through art, science, or philosophy, the desire to understand and create mirrors the divine attributes the serpent offers. This makes the serpent a symbol of humanity's potential as well as its challenges. However, the quest for knowledge is not without its dangers. The story of Genesis warns of the consequences of overreaching, a theme reflected in myths like Icarus or Pandora's box. The serpent's role as a catalyst for this tension underscores its complexity as both a guide and a disruptor. The implications of the serpent's actions extend beyond theology. They touch on universal questions about the human condition. What is the cost of knowledge? How do we balance curiosity with caution? By grappling with these questions, the Genesis story remains profoundly relevant. Interpreting the serpent through the lens of the quest for knowledge reveals its central role in the Genesis narrative. Far from being a simple antagonist, it becomes a symbol of humanity's greatest strengths and vulnerabilities, a figure that continues to inspire and challenge us. Are you ready to take the next step in your journey of faith? By subscribing, you're not just supporting this message, you're opening your heart to a deeper connection with God and His Word. Let this be your moment to follow Jesus, to seek His truth, and to embrace the path He has prepared for you. Click subscribe now and join a community united in faith, hope, and love. The serpent's actions in Genesis raise profound questions about the nature of free will. By tempting Eve to eat the fruit, the serpent sets the stage for humanity's first moral decision. This moment is not just about disobedience, it marks the emergence of choice, agency, and responsibility in the human story. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve live in a state of innocence, free from the burdens of knowledge and consequence. The serpent's temptation introduces a dilemma: to obey God's command or to seek the forbidden. This choice highlights the importance of free will as a defining characteristic of humanity, emphasizing the complexity of moral and spiritual growth. Free will, however, comes with consequences. The decision to eat the fruit brings suffering, exile, and mortality. Yet it also brings awareness and the ability to make moral distinctions. This duality reflects the paradox of free will. It is both a gift and a burden, enabling growth while exposing humanity to pain and loss. The serpent's role in this process is pivotal. It does not coerce or deceive outright but invites Eve to consider the possibility of knowledge. This act positions the serpent as a catalyst rather than a villain, emphasizing the importance of choice in the unfolding of the Genesis narrative. Humanity's fall, in this sense, becomes a step toward self-awareness and maturity. The concept of free will has deep theological implications. It suggests that God's creation of humanity included the potential for disobedience, highlighting the value of voluntary faith and obedience. The serpent's temptation serves as a test of this potential, underscoring the tension between divine authority and human agency. Across cultures, myths and stories often explore the theme of free will through acts of rebellion or choice. From Pandora's box in Greek mythology to the Promethean quest for fire, humanity's decisions to defy divine limits are central to narratives of growth and transformation. The serpent fits within this broader tradition, symbolizing the risks and rewards of autonomy. understanding the serpent as a catalyst for free will invites us to reflect on the choices we face in our own lives. It challenges us to consider the balance between obedience and independence, reminding us that growth often requires stepping into the unknown. This perspective transforms the Genesis story into a timeless exploration of human freedom. The forbidden fruit in Genesis is one of the most potent symbols in religious and literary history. It represents temptation, knowledge, and the boundaries of divine law. The serpent's role in presenting the fruit to Eve elevates this object from mere sustenance to a profound emblem of human curiosity and transgression. The fruit's symbolism begins with its placement at the center of the Garden of Eden. This positioning emphasizes its significance, drawing attention to the tension between divine command and human desire. The serpent's invitation to eat the fruit transforms it into a test of obedience and a gateway to new understanding. Eating the fruit marks a turning point in the story, representing the transition from innocence to experience. This act parallels other myths and narratives where a single choice alters the course of history. The fruit becomes a metaphor for pivotal moments in human life, where decisions carry irreversible consequences. The serpent's description of the fruit as a source of divine-like knowledge reinforces its symbolic power. It is not simply forbidden, it is desirable because it offers something beyond human limitations. This allure reflects the universal human longing for understanding, even when it comes at great cost. Cultural and artistic depictions of the fruit often emphasize its dual nature, beautiful and dangerous, nourishing and destructive. From Renaissance paintings to modern literature, the fruit symbolizes the complexity of desire and the profound impact of choices. These interpretations enrich our understanding of its role in Genesis. The consequences of eating the fruit highlight its symbolic significance. Adam and Eve gain the knowledge of good and evil but lose their place in Eden. This dual outcome reinforces the idea that knowledge is both a gift and a burden, a theme that resonates across philosophical and theological traditions. By examining the forbidden fruit as a symbol, we gain deeper insight into the Genesis narrative. It becomes a representation of human potential and limitation, a reminder of the risks inherent in the pursuit of knowledge. The serpent's role in presenting the fruit underscores the complexity of temptation and choice. The expulsion of Adam and Eve from Eden is one of the most dramatic moments in Genesis. It represents the culmination of the serpent's actions and the consequences of human choice. This event is rich with symbolism, offering insights into the themes of separation, growth, and divine justice. The expulsion begins with God's realization that humanity has gained the knowledge of good and evil. This newfound awareness brings humanity closer to the divine but also makes them unfit for Eden's innocence. The act of expulsion reflects a tension between divine justice and mercy, emphasizing the complex relationship between God and humanity. The physical removal from Eden symbolizes a deeper spiritual separation. Adam and Eve's exile marks the beginning of human life in a world of toil, suffering, and mortality. This transition mirrors the human experience of leaving behind the simplicity of childhood and facing the challenges of adulthood. The serpent's role in this event highlights its function as a catalyst for change. By tempting Eve, it sets in motion a chain of events that leads to humanity's departure from paradise. This act underscores the serpent's dual nature. It disrupts harmony but also initiates growth and transformation. The imagery of the expulsion, with cherubim guarding the way to the tree of life, reinforces the theme of separation. Humanity is cut off from immortality, emphasizing the consequences of their actions. Yet this separation also sets the stage for redemption. As the rest of the biblical narrative unfolds, theologically, the expulsion raises questions about the nature of sin, grace, and human destiny. Was the serpent's temptation part of God's plan for humanity's development? Does the expulsion signify punishment or preparation for a greater purpose? These questions invite us to reflect on the complexities of divine intention. Across cultures, stories of exile often symbolize the journey of self-discovery and growth. From the Odyssey's wanderings to modern tales of personal transformation, exile represents a crucial phase in the human experience. The expulsion from Eden fits within this tradition, highlighting the universal themes of loss and renewal. By exploring the expulsion from Eden, we gain a deeper appreciation for its role in the Genesis narrative. It is not merely a punishment but a profound moment of transition, where humanity steps into a new phase of existence. The serpent's actions, far from being purely negative, are integral to this transformation. The serpent's influence extends far beyond the Genesis story. Its legacy can be seen in theological discussions, artistic interpretations, and cultural narratives that grapple with its role as a symbol of temptation, knowledge, and rebellion. This enduring presence underscores the profound impact of the serpent on religious and philosophical thought. In Christian theology, the serpent is often identified with Satan, particularly in the New Testament. This association transforms the Genesis story into a broader narrative about the cosmic struggle between good and evil. The serpent becomes a key figure in discussions of sin, redemption, and the human condition. The identification of the serpent with Satan highlights its role as an adversary, but it also raises questions about its true nature. Was the serpent acting independently, or was it part of a divine plan? These questions reflect the theological tension between free will and predestination, themes that are central to Christian doctrine. Artistic representations of the serpent often emphasize its duality as a figure of beauty and danger. From medieval manuscripts to modern films, the serpent is depicted as a creature that captivates and challenges, embodying the complexity of temptation. These portrayals enrich our understanding of its role in Genesis. In Jewish traditions, the serpent is often seen as a more ambiguous figure. While it represents temptation and sin, it is also recognized as a catalyst for humanity's moral and intellectual development. This perspective aligns with interpretations that view the Genesis story as a narrative of growth rather than a fall. The serpent's legacy extends to broader cultural and philosophical discussions. Its role as a symbol of knowledge and transgression has inspired thinkers from Milton to Nietzsche, who grapple with its implications for human freedom and creativity. The serpent's actions in Genesis resonate across disciplines, reflecting its enduring relevance. Understanding the serpent's legacy invites us to consider its role not just in theology but in the broader human experience. It represents the complexity of choice, the pursuit of knowledge, and the struggle between obedience and independence. These themes make the serpent a powerful symbol that transcends its biblical origins. The serpent's influence on theology and culture underscores its centrality to the Genesis narrative. By examining its legacy, we gain a deeper appreciation for the story's richness and its impact on our understanding of humanity's place in the world. The serpent's role in Genesis has inspired countless works of literature and art, reflecting its profound symbolic resonance. From religious texts to modern novels, the serpent has been reimagined as a figure of wisdom, danger, and transformation, making it a powerful archetype in creative expression. In literature, the serpent often symbolizes temptation and the consequences of forbidden knowledge. John Milton's Paradise Lost is a prime example, where Satan takes the form of a serpent to deceive Eve. Milton's portrayal emphasizes the serpent's cunning and persuasive power, casting it as a central figure in humanity's fall and subsequent redemption. Artistic representations of the serpent frequently explore its dual nature as both beautiful and menacing. Renaissance painters like Michelangelo and Titian depicted the serpent entwined in the tree of knowledge, often giving it a human-like quality to emphasize its role as a tempter. These visual interpretations highlight the complexity of the serpent's character, blending elements of seduction and threat. Modern literature continues to draw on the serpent's symbolism. In works like C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, the serpent's influence appears in allegorical forms, representing themes of corruption and redemption. Similarly, in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, serpents are associated with both wisdom and darkness, reflecting the multifaceted legacy of the Genesis narrative. The serpent's presence in art and literature extends beyond Western traditions. In Hindu mythology, the Naga, a serpent-like being, is both protective and fearsome, symbolizing wisdom and spiritual awakening. These cross-cultural connections underscore the universal appeal of the serpent as a symbol of transformation and the tension between good and evil. The enduring power of the serpent in creative expression reflects its deep psychological and cultural resonance. Artists and writers continue to reinterpret its role, finding new ways to explore the themes of knowledge, choice, and consequence. Each reinterpretation adds layers of meaning to the Genesis story, enriching our understanding of its timeless relevance. By examining the serpent's influence in literature and art, we see how its character transcends the biblical narrative to become a universal symbol. This exploration invites us to consider the ways in which ancient stories continue to shape our understanding of humanity's most profound struggles and aspirations. The serpent's enduring presence in creative works highlights its role as a mirror of the human condition. It challenges us to confront the complexities of temptation, growth, and morality, reminding us of the rich symbolic power of the Genesis story. Central to the Genesis narrative are two enigmatic symbols: the tree of knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life. The serpent's interaction with these trees deepens the story's layers of meaning, connecting themes of choice, consequence, and divine boundaries. The tree of knowledge represents the gateway to moral and intellectual awareness. By tempting Eve to eat its fruit, the serpent introduces humanity to the complexities of knowledge, distinguishing between good and evil, understanding the consequences of actions, and navigating the tension between divine authority and personal autonomy. In contrast, the tree of life symbolizes immortality and divine grace. Its presence in the Garden of Eden suggests that humanity, before the fall, had access to eternal life. After Adam and Eve's disobedience, they are barred from the tree of life, emphasizing the cost of their newfound knowledge, mortality and separation from God. The juxtaposition of these two trees highlights the tension between knowledge and life, a theme that resonates throughout the Genesis narrative. The serpent's role in guiding humanity toward the tree of knowledge raises questions about its intentions. Was it acting out of malice, or was it fulfilling a deeper purpose in God's plan? The trees also reflect broader mythological themes. In many cultures, trees symbolize life, wisdom, and the connection between heaven and earth. The Norse Yggdrasil, the Mesopotamian tree of life, and the Bodhi tree in Buddhism all echo the central role of trees as sources of spiritual and existential significance. The serpent's interaction with the tree of knowledge transforms it into a symbol of human potential and limitation. By introducing Adam and Eve to the fruit, the serpent acts as a mediator between the divine and human realms, bridging the gap between innocence and experience. The theological implications of the trees are profound. They invite us to reflect on the nature of God's boundaries, the costs of knowledge, and the human longing for immortality. The serpent's actions, far from being purely antagonistic, highlight the complexities of divine intention and human choice. By exploring the symbolism of the tree of knowledge and the tree of life, we gain a deeper understanding of the Genesis narrative. These elements enrich the story's themes of growth, separation, and the pursuit of meaning, making them central to its enduring power. The serpent's role in Genesis has long been associated with the concept of sin, particularly the idea of original sin in Christian theology. This interpretation positions the serpent as a key figure in humanity's fall from grace, emphasizing its role in introducing disobedience into the human story. Sin in Genesis is often framed as a violation of divine command. By persuading Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, the serpent becomes a symbol of temptation and rebellion. This act of disobedience sets the stage for humanity's separation from God and the introduction of suffering and mortality into the world. The serpent's actions, however, also raise questions about the nature of sin. Was Eve's decision purely an act of defiance, or was it motivated by a desire for understanding? The serpent's promise, that eating the fruit would open her eyes, suggests that sin is not merely about disobedience but about the human longing for knowledge and autonomy. The theological implications of the serpent's role in sin are profound. In Christian tradition, the serpent is often linked to Satan, reinforcing its identity as an adversary. Yet this interpretation also invites us to consider the serpent's function as a necessary part of God's plan, testing humanity's faith and obedience. Sin, as depicted in Genesis, is not a simple concept. It encompasses themes of choice, consequence, and the tension between divine authority and human freedom. The serpent's role in this dynamic highlights its complexity as a character, challenging us to move beyond binary interpretations of good and evil. Across cultures, myths often explore the concept of sin through figures who defy divine limits. From Prometheus to Pandora, these stories reflect humanity's struggle with temptation and the consequences of overreaching. The serpent fits within this tradition, symbolizing the risks and rewards of pursuing the forbidden. Understanding the serpent's role in the nature of sin invites us to reflect on our own moral struggles. It challenges us to consider the balance between obedience and independence, reminding us that growth often requires confronting the boundaries of what is allowed. By examining the serpent's role in sin, we gain a deeper appreciation for the Genesis narrative's theological and philosophical depth. It becomes a story not just of disobedience but of the complexities of choice, responsibility, and the human condition. In modern times, the serpent's role in Genesis has been reinterpreted through the lenses of psychology, literature, and philosophy. These perspectives shed new light on its character, emphasizing its relevance to contemporary discussions about knowledge, freedom, and morality. Psychological interpretations often focus on the serpent as a symbol of the unconscious mind. In Freudian terms, it represents repressed desires and the struggle between instinct and morality. Jungian analysis, on the other hand, sees the serpent as an archetype of transformation, embodying the process of individuation and self-discovery. Literary reinterpretations of the serpent often explore its role as a complex and ambiguous figure. Writers like John Milton and William Blake have portrayed the serpent not just as a deceiver but as a symbol of liberation and enlightenment, challenging traditional moral binaries. Philosophical perspectives on the serpent often grapple with its implications for human freedom. Existentialist thinkers, for example, view the serpent's temptation as a metaphor for the human condition, where the pursuit of knowledge and autonomy is both liberating and burdensome. Modern art and media have also reimagined the serpent, often emphasizing its dual nature as both a tempter and a guide. From films to graphic novels, the serpent continues to captivate audiences, reflecting its enduring symbolic power. The serpent's relevance to contemporary discussions underscores its timelessness as a symbol. It invites us to reflect on the complexities of knowledge, morality, and human growth, challenging us to see the Genesis story as a dynamic and evolving narrative. By engaging with modern interpretations of the serpent, we gain new insights into its role in Genesis and its significance for our understanding of humanity. These perspectives enrich the story's themes, making it as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. The serpent's enduring appeal lies in its ability to reflect the complexities of the human experience. It continues to challenge and inspire, reminding us of the profound truths embedded in the Genesis narrative. At its core, the serpent's role in Genesis speaks to the essence of the human condition. Its actions catalyze humanity's transition from innocence to experience, raising profound questions about choice, knowledge, and the nature of existence. The serpent's temptation highlights the tension between divine authority and human autonomy. By encouraging Eve to eat the fruit, it introduces humanity to the complexities of moral decision-making. This moment reflects the universal human struggle to navigate the boundaries of freedom and obedience. The knowledge gained from eating the fruit transforms Adam and Eve's understanding of themselves and the world. This awareness brings both enlightenment and suffering, mirroring the human experience of growth and the inevitable loss of innocence. The serpent's role as a catalyst for this transformation underscores its complexity as a character. It is not merely a tempter but a figure that prompts humanity to confront its potential and limitations. This duality makes the serpent a powerful symbol of the human journey. The theological implications of the serpent's actions invite us to reflect on the relationship between humanity and the divine. Was the serpent's temptation part of a larger plan for human development? Does the Genesis story suggest that growth and suffering are intertwined in the human experience? The serpent's enduring significance lies in its ability to capture the paradoxes of the human condition. It embodies the tension between knowledge and ignorance, freedom and constraint, growth and loss. These themes resonate across cultures and eras, making the serpent a universal archetype. Understanding the serpent's role in Genesis invites us to reflect on our own lives. It challenges us to confront the choices we face, the knowledge we seek, and the consequences of our actions. In this sense, the serpent becomes a mirror of humanity itself. By exploring the serpent and the human condition, we uncover the profound truths embedded in the Genesis narrative. It is not just a story of disobedience but a timeless reflection of the struggles and aspirations that define the human experience. As we bring this journey through the Genesis narrative to a close, let's pause to reflect on the profound truths we've uncovered. The serpent is far more than a mere antagonist. It is a complex symbol of knowledge, choice, and transformation. Its actions in the Garden of Eden set the stage for humanity's growth, embodying the struggles and aspirations that define our existence. This story isn't just about the past, it's about us. It's about the decisions we face daily, the temptations that test us, and the pursuit of understanding that shapes who we are. The serpent challenges us to think deeply about our relationship with God, our choices, and our path toward spiritual growth. It reminds us that even in moments of struggle, there is opportunity for transformation and redemption. If this exploration has touched your heart, let it be the beginning of something greater. Let this be the moment you commit to walking closer with God, to seeking His truth, and to embracing His wisdom. You are not alone on this journey, and together, as a community, we can find strength and guidance in His Word. Hi, I'm Josue, and I want to thank you for joining me today. It's not just a privilege to share these reflections, it's a blessing to know we are growing together, diving deeper into God's truths, and seeking His light in our lives. You are part of something special here, a family that supports and inspires one another on this journey of faith. If this video has inspired you, don't keep this journey to yourself. Subscribe to the channel now, so we can continue exploring the Word of God together. Let's build a community rooted in faith, hope, and love. By subscribing, you're taking a step not just toward more content, but toward a life guided by God's wisdom and truth. And remember, this is more than just clicking a button. It's about choosing to follow Jesus, to trust in His plan, and to grow in your faith every day. If you feel called to take this step, say it out loud or in your heart, "I follow you, Jesus." I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay blessed, stay faithful, and remember, you are loved, you are seen, and you are never alone in this journey. God bless you, my friend, and I'll see you soon.